So hello, everybody there at Point Park.
Hello.
Hi, folks.
Hi.
I just wanted to say hello to all the students there. It's 8 o'clock in the evening here in Ireland. I'm at home. I don't have a big deadline this evening. So I'm actually cooking curry for 6 people tomorrow. So I may have to rattle pots now and then. So thank you all for the really interesting questions. And I thought that I would just kind of answer them as, I suppose, answer the questions that I thought might be the most sort of useful for everybody, and also the ones that kind of maybe intrigue me the most. So if you can still hear me okay, I'll start.
A-okay.
How's that sound?
Excellent.
Good. So one question was, what story has been your most memorable? And I would say to that, I did think about this because I suppose that's one of the things about daily print journalism, that you are literally writing hundreds of stories a year, and you know they do kind of pass into the blender of your memory from time to time. So for me, it would probably be a story that I wrote very early on in my career, and it was a feature, and it was something that I had always been very interested in personally, and then when I became a journalist I decided that I would indulge my curiosity on this, and it was a feature on people who had been blind from birth, and I wanted to find out not practical things like how do you get around and stuff like that, because that's been done to death, but I was really intrigued as to how they perceive the world around them. I mean, if you see the ocean where you can't see the ocean, how do you know what perspective is, and how do you visualize the world around you? And I thought that this was sort of when you have no point of reference at all, and you know, what do you dream? When you don't have any, you only have kind of felt shape, where you can't dream colours or memories or seeing things. So I was just very interested in this, and I interviewed a child who was about 7, a teenager, and then a man and a woman who were kind of in their 40s, I think. And it was really intriguing, and people still talk about that piece, and that was a long time ago. And one of the women that I interviewed, she said that she first discovered or realized, understood what being blind was when she was 3, and she ran into the kitchen table, and she was old enough to be hurt, and realized she wasn't able to stop herself without being hurt because she could see where she was going. And her mother was standing in the door of the kitchen singing a song about a bird flying, and she said that she had held the bird in her hands then, but that she'd never been able to observe life, which is essentially what a bird is about, so that she hadn't understood what the song was about, and would never understand it. And I asked everybody what they would like to see, and apart from their families and their friends, this woman said that she really wanted to see as a lion would like to be held as toy one, that she knew that, you know, in reality they were very powerful and wild, really, and you couldn't get near them. And what she wanted to do was go to the Natural History Museum and get into all the cabinets and feel all the animals. So that was a memorable story. So there's another question: what do you think is the most important quality a journalist can possess? And I'll answer that in one word, and it's curiosity. That you have to have other skills as well. You have to be, you know, diligent and persistent is very important. Obviously, you have to be a good researcher and work quickly. But if you're not curious about the world and about what makes people think, and about why certain things are happening, and are interested and just curious, and sometimes questioning about why certain things are happening, whether you're writing about news or politics or features, then you're really going to go nowhere as a journalist. So you need to be curious, and also being curious will generate lots of ideas. And I suppose you have to remember I'm a features writer. I write a lot of news features, but I don't write hard news day to day. So why did you choose print journalism rather than broadcast, especially with your acting background? So I thought that was a very interesting question, actually. I would qualify the acting background. It was for years at the community theatre with, I did a lot of other things too. So it is an interesting question, and I suppose because I had written books and I just love the kind of the written word, and you have to be really, I think, with broadcast you have to, it's really a very different job because you are, if you're a TV reporter, you're working with a cameraman, you're very much sort of restricted by the short time slot that you have to camera. You have to have sort of an entourage with you. So you tell the story in a different way. With print, you can go more into depth with it. And I suppose I never really considered broadcast. I did at the very beginning, before I got my job at the paper. I applied for a job as a researcher at RTE, which is the radio television area, and it's the radio and television national network in Ireland. Which was but I didn't get anywhere with that. And it's really because I suppose journalism, whether it's print or broadcast or photojournalism, it's essentially about telling a story, and I reckon that I can tell stories best in print. So that's what I went with. I love journalism, and I suppose it's very addictive. It's a bit like, I suppose, to go back to this kind of theatre thing, acting. A daily newspaper is a bit like a performance. Everybody is working together for the show, which is going to be next day's paper, and there are all sorts of different things that are happening. Stories are breaking. It's a massive jigsaw, and it is a huge production, a huge team effort.